to That Wrestling Podcast.
It is That Wrestling Podcast. Well, two of the formerly good bad guys of wrestling podcasts are here. Jason and Joe are not. It's me and Kevin. Kev, real quick, I don't know, maybe one other time, but is this maybe the first time just the two of us have done a show? Maybe one other time?
I like it, and I like it that you can still say the bad guys. So we can still say plural today.
Yes, yeah, we have plural, at least with the two of us. That's about all we got. But we got it. But yeah, I thought about that right before we went on. I'm like, I don't know if just you and I have done a show. Maybe once, maybe a WrestleMania thing. I don't even know. Yeah. Any recollection?
I can't remember. But the nice thing with us four, right? It's kind of like the Freebird rule. I know it was a trio, but one doesn't have to be here, and it feels like it's still new and fresh, and we interchange, right? We're different pieces of the puzzle, but we still fit that puzzle.
Yeah, I think so. That's a well accurately said. And with just two of us, the show usually goes a little bit quicker. I think last week's show was about an hour and a half. So
we're opinionated guys.
Yeah, we had a lot to say. We had Crown Jewel preview predictions. So this one will probably be a little more condensed, and that might be a good thing. So yeah, Jason and Joe are not here. Jason sent me a text a little bit ago that he couldn't make it. The text read that, "Hey, Bri, I've taken one too many edible, and I'm in a bidding war on eBay for a ringside Crown Jewel seat. The shipping and handling costs more than the chair itself. Have a good show, LOL." So I guess that's what Jay is up to tonight. Good luck with that, buddy.
It sounds like Jay's having a fun time.
He is. Have you heard from Joe at all?
I have. So Joe tried to get me to head to Houston, Texas with him. He's on his way to the Lions game. They play Sunday Night Football in 2 days, trying to keep that number one seed alive in the NFC. So
talk about going forward down the field. He's going forward down to Texas. Look
exactly.
At that.
Yeehaw.
All right. Yeah. Well, hope safe travels to Joe, and hopefully the guys will all be back here next week. Let's talk about wrestling, though, guys. We're Kev. Of course, this past Saturday was Crown Jewel.
Yeah.
Tell me about, what you think of the show. Highlights, lowlights, anything that really stood out to you.
I think everyone would agree that Cody Gunther match, I loved it. The ending, came out of nowhere for me because I was like, oh my gosh, what is Gunther when he caught him? I'm like, wow. And then, the kind of flashback to when Brett got that pin way back when, I was like, okay, I'm like, I got
Austin
it.
It was Survivor Series.
And it didn't make Gunther look weak, right? It was like a surprise. And he looked happy for Cody, like, you got one over me. Congratulations, right? So it was a huge sign of respect on that match. That match had everything in it, back and forth. At that point, I was like, who's actually going to win this thing? Because it could have been literally either one of them. That was the highlight of the entire night. And now I'm going to get probably a little bit nitpicky. The low highlight for me over the entire thing felt like it was too many matches.
Isn't that interesting?
We've gotten accustomed. The event wasn't overbearing in length. It's just, I think I've gotten accustomed to less is more, right? And we'll touch base. Actually, I want to touch base later in the show when we talk about some of the shows overall this week. I just feel like less matches would have done more. But everything's bigger and better at Crown Jewel, so I think they kind of wanted to put more matches on there. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting spoiled with not seeing as many wrestlers, and now I sound like I'm crazy because I love seeing as many as we can, right, on the PLEs.
Yeah.
But that was my only gripe, and I don't know if that's a logical thing. What did you think on that?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, it's funny to look back at it, like you mentioned, there was a little much. There really was 6 matches, technically, because Kevin Owens and Randy Orton wasn't a match, but it was a whole thing. So,
but it still went on for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. But so it's interesting to be like, but it was really 6 matches. If this was AEW Wrestle Dream, it's like when you got to match 13, you go, okay, I've had enough. So it's interesting. I get what you're saying. I thought it was a good show.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a great show, but I thought it was a good show. I also agreed with you on Cody and Gunther. And interesting because I feel like so many WWE PLEs, like the main event, has somebody from the outside or return or something. And this was just the straight up wrestling match. Who was
Yeah.
better? And we get the little ceremony after it's done with the Saudi crown prince and the big ass title belt and everything. And then it was just thank you for joining us. So it was different because yeah, is Kevin Owens coming out? Ludwig
Yeah.
Kaiser. Nothing like that happened. So a
Yeah.
different way to do it. It's very cool. Not what I expected. So that was great. But yeah,
But
most of it was really good. I thought the women's tag match was really, really over delivered.
I
All four
agree.
of those teams were great.
All of them. Every team looked strong.
Yeah.
That was the nice thing. And no pun
Hmm.
intended, like of course Bianca and Jade look
Yeah.
incredibly strong. Uh but everyone had their highlights in that match. Like
Right.
no one looked like when Chelsea looked great.
Oh
Uh
yeah.
so entertaining in so many ways. Like even just the walking down. What is she wearing? Well, it's kind of like a like and just those little things. So it's like she doesn't lose who she is, but she's just so funny.
Yeah.
But just everyone looked incredible. And Lash Legend,
Yeah, he took it right from me,
holy
buddy. I was gonna say, I
moly.
see so much potential in her, man. She's great.
Like I there's rumors what Metaphor is going to be called up potentially soon. Uh they wow, those two ladies brought it. And having Lash, like she is a very strong woman, but when she was what going toe to toe, staring at Jade,
Yeah.
Jade looks tiny,
Hmm.
like again, like
Yeah,
across from
Lash
that.
is a
Like,
tall girl. Yeah.
man, there's some dynamite matches that could be coming in the near future
Yeah.
if those ladies come up. So
Yeah.
that's
If
the
and when
exciting
that
stuff.
happens. I love the finish of the LA Knight Andrade Carmelo match with like the double BFT. I thought
Yes.
that was really cool.
A lot of double
Um,
pins during the match where one guy wanted to pin both.
yeah.
Uh, that was very cool because that wasn't just a one-off. It was multiple times that happened. So I thought
Yeah.
LA Knight was going to slip on the top rope for one, like that one
Oh, I
time,
know.
but
I know.
he saved it.
Yeah.
And the crowd was hot at times during the event too. So
Yeah. And I was gonna say that, like, maybe it was, and I'll say maybe why I felt the way I felt, but Peter Rosenberg said this on Cheap Heat. He was like, a lot of this is awesome chants, and maybe it wasn't all that awesome when you were chanting, this is awesome. Like, it was really good, but maybe not awesome. And that's kind of how I felt. And then I thought about it more. I think I felt that way and feel that way because, by God, I got one pick right of the whole show. Like, I
one,
mean, I took my picks seriously, with the exception of Seth
yeah.
Rollins, Bronson Reed, and I just threw out that, hey, Seth is going to lose because he's so pissed about the Bears losing on that Hail Mary to Washington.
But
Everything else
you're
I was like legitimate on, and I missed every single one except for Bloodline versus Bloodline. And so
but
maybe that just gives me a bad taste in my mouth, Kev.
I'll give you one with an asterisk because technically you didn't get K Randy wrong because
Yeah,
it
no
it
one
didn't
got it
happen.
right, no one got it wrong. It didn't happen. Yeah, so
So,
but
but yeah, speaking
boy,
of picks,
yeah,
I didn't do very much better. I think Jay had two. You have 37. Jay's still in last place. He only had two right. I only had three right.
yeah.
So it's one, two, three, and then Najee and Joe, man, they both moved up. So right at the top, Joe and I are tied on the pick'ems. So and then guest pickers only one behind. So
Wow.
leading into Survivor Series,
Oh my
that's
God.
usually probably only four matches or something. So hey, if
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
tie at the end, it's meant to be. If it's
oh my
if it's
God.
if it's somebody wins a year long of guesses and picks, it's been a fun, close ride. I'll say that. But
Yeah.
yeah, Crown Jewel, I was just thinking in my brain, I was like, man, I'm gonna go with my gut but then I'm stupid because maybe I should have picked Cody because he's the
Yeah.
popular guy. But I went with my gut, and my gut apparently had big belly issues that time. So
No, I saw the logic, man. I thought,
yeah,
yeah, give Gunther the win. Hey, excuse me, keep building up that new championship. You know, it's
yeah.
still only like a year plus old, I think, barely over a year. I thought that would have been good.
I
I
will say
remember,
one thing about
yeah,
the crown jewel belts. Zoomed in close when no one's holding it, looks like a very nice belt, right? And I liked it how they explained over, I'm exaggerating, over 400 diamonds on this thing. It's so many
right.
carats of stones. Like they made it sound uh uh only someone of massive wealth can create this belt, right? But when Cody was holding it, looked ugly as sin. When Liv
Hmm.
was holding it, it was like half of her body,
Yeah.
right? Like I'm glad they're going to be on display for people to see versus if she was wearing it. Because honestly, it would go from like her abdomen up to like her chest. Like it would,
Yeah.
it just, they're over embellished belts to look larger than life, I'll say. Like, so I like it that champion, perfect, make this belt big. But I'm glad they did make the decision before. Perfect, you're gonna get the ring. And it was very cool shot seeing Cody and Liv both appreciating it. So you see a heel and a face like coming together. Hey, we are the first ones, right? So that was kind of cool. Um, but I'm glad the belts are staying there.
Yeah, I
That's
agree. But and I think they made it, like you said, I think
yeah.
they made it a big deal. They had the
Yep.
big presentation in the ring. They were
Yep.
gifted a ring, and how they talked about how since this will be an annual thing, next year if Cody wins, he gets a second ring, just like any NBA champion, NFL Super Bowl champion. So I love the concept. I think that's a great way to make it feel important. So,
Yeah.
no complaints about that whatsoever. So Crown Jewel's in the books, but before we got to Crown Jewel on Friday night, we had a couple of WWE releases or wrestlers who aren't being re-signed if their contract is up. The three reported Baron Corbin, Indi Hartwell, and Tegan Knox. Kev, your
Yeah.
reaction to these? Any of these you think's a mistake or anything like that?
Uh, no, I don't know how many times you can repackage Corbin like that, like Lone Wolf, Happy Corbin, the JBL failure, like
Mm-hmm.
so much talent, and like he was given shots, right? I feel that I don't know if will he ever be back in WWE. I don't necessarily need to see him back in WWE. I would love to be surprised, have him grow outside maybe a little bit. Maybe he won't even be in wrestling anymore. Who knows? Indy, I'll just give my quick thoughts on all three. Indy, it's just one of those things where it's like, what, she was off for a while. She came when she was NXT champion to the main roster, drafted, didn't really do much because she was a crony for uh
Candace.
Candace, and it
Yeah.
just didn't move with me. And Tegan,
Hadn't seen her in a long time,
yeah,
honestly.
and just not much of a needle mover.
No.
And so cuts, I no surprises there, none at all.
Yeah. Corbin's, I mean, a little surprised just because, yeah, like you said, he's been around for a long time. Some things were better than other things, right?
End move was great, like end of days, absolutely amazing.
Oh yeah,
Like
I love Deep Six and End of Days.
yeah, like
I was like, I'd always enjoy his matches.
yeah,
I was never a big fan of his promo work. Didn't matter what character he was doing. I never was a big fan of that, but I always enjoyed him in the ring. I think my favorite part of him was when he did like lose all his money and he was like broke ass Corbin and
it
he
is
just
like
like come out with
it
like
was like
right. I thought he did that really well.
he did.
So yeah, I wouldn't mind if he came back and I think but I agree with what your sentiment is that I always for whatever reason I go back to when like WWE released Lana and it was like what more can you do with Lana? She's done like the Rusev thing, and she was like with Bobby Lashley and on her own thing. I was just like, eventually you got to go like, I think we're good. And so I
Yeah.
kind of felt that was the same way with Baron Corbin, even though I think, yeah, he's a talented guy, but maybe a time away. Hey, I can't wait to see him in GCW. Let's do that right now because he
Yeah.
would get so much heat in GCW, same as Matt Cardona. I know Jinder did a quick thing in GCW, like it would fit like a glove.
Well, it's about that time of the year where for some reason GCW always hits up Harpo's in November.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's, but no, I think so.
yeah.
Maybe he'll make the rounds on the indies. And maybe a WWE ID will pick him up.
Wait, are you implying that he's dating Indy Hartwell? Is that what you said? Making rounds in the Indies? Io.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I see what you did there.
Ah, thanks,
Uh,
buddy. Okay.
Karen
No,
Karen
no.
Bourbon is
Yeah,
there he,
Karen Bourne.
there he goes.
I could see Indy Hartwell going to TNA.
Yeah.
That's a good fit for her because, like, she had a really good run in NXT. And the stuff that she did with like Dexter and their like love
Yes.
thing and everything. So there's something there, but yeah, never really got to grow on the main roster. And like I said with Tegan Knox, like I haven't even seen her in feels
Are
like
you
six
aware?
months.
How old do you think Indy is?
I'd go 28, 29.
She is exactly 28. Tegan
Okay.
Knox, 29.
Okay.
And for some reason, I know Corbin's a lot younger, but I feel like Corbin looks like he's about 40.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm guessing he's
He is exactly
34.
40. He's
Oh, he
40.
is. Whoa.
Yeah,
Okay. Damn.
that's
I
funny.
mean, he's
Okay.
had no hair for like 4 years, it
Oh, do you
feels
remember
like.
when he had
So,
the skullet?
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He was holding on.
Oh man, he was that lone hair on the top of his head.
It was the end of days for the haircut.
Oh my.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. And I get it. Like I said, none of them I'm going to beat down the doors of WWE headquarters and say, what the hell are you thinking? But we'll see if
Yeah.
any of them come back around or what they do in the future. I thought this was interesting. So, a bit unusual for WWE that they announced that they're going to have 3 weeks of shows in Europe in March, just before Mania. Mania is like mid-April. So it's really kind of that month before WrestleMania. But we're going to get 3 Raws and 3 SmackDowns from Europe. And I kind of saw this two ways. On one hand, when they've gone to Europe lately, the crowds are so hot.
Yeah.
And so that makes for a really fun show. You think of Backlash in France and Bash of Berlin. The crowds are so good. So I'm like, all right, that's going to be fun. On the other hand, I was a little bummed because inevitably when they do shows in Europe, um, unless it is a Backlash where it's live on a Saturday afternoon or something, spoilers come out.
Yeah.
And so, I kind of go 50-50. Sometimes I'm like, all right, I'll see what happens. And other times I just let it go and watch it live as it
Hmm.
happens. The only little caveat to this, after I put this together from this afternoon, is apparently it sounds like the Raws will be live on Netflix because it's Netflix. It's not like they have to put it
Yeah.
on at a certain time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they can throw it on live because why the hell not? So I thought, maybe that means, I don't know what to, depending on maybe where they are in Europe, but if they go off at 8 o'clock here, Kev, what are they like 6 hours in front of us
I'd say like
mostly?
France, I believe
Five or
is six.
six.
Yeah, majority of Europe 6. So that would go on
So like two in
in the
the
afternoon.
afternoon here on a
Seems like
Monday.
I'll have to work from home on
Yeah, what
Monday.
do you know? I'm going home after lunch, boss. Yeah, I'm with you.
And apparently
So
on Fridays.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I thought. Because SmackDown's USA, they're gonna
Yeah.
still probably still be 8 o'clock. So
Ah,
so we'll still get
yeah.
spoilers, I would think, for that. So, what was your thoughts when it came to this? Because I kind of saw both ways on it.
I think it's very smart that they're going to be doing some Europe shows. Just because the WWE is hot everywhere in the world, right? And the long-standing tease of maybe WrestleMania will come to London. Shoot, they went to Germany and it was,
Yeah,
or yeah, they went to Germany for
Bash at Berlin.
Bash in Berlin. Huge. Clash at the Castle.
Yeah,
Huge. When they stopped in France. Huge everywhere. It's just massive crowds. So it's more than just let's go on the holiday tour of random house shows and throw in a, one or two good events there. No, I think it's right to do for the crowd, but I think it will lead up to a major WrestleMania announcement somewhere in Europe.
Yeah.
It has to. If not, you totally missed the ball having it be special. Where I would put my betting odds on London. But anywhere could be great.
Yeah, there's so many big, European soccer stadiums over there that I couldn't tell you what they are in what cities, but I got to figure they're
Yeah.
going to have options to do something big.
I would have to imagine because what AEW ran Wembley.
Hmm.
I can see Mania doing Wembley and trying to beat the record of what AEW put in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can't put it past them for trying that. That doesn't
Because
doesn't yeah.
make a small stage, make it like an intimate small stage, kind of like how when Cena returned from Madison Square Garden, right? Like
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
middle, make something just small and pack that thing in. And
Yeah.
you put anywhere in Europe, that thing's selling out in an instant. And those
Yeah,
tickets
the
be
first
crazy
WrestleMania in
expensive.
Europe is
Yeah,
gonna,
it would go
fly off the
crazy.
shelf
I
for
think I
sure.
think Raw's live. I think it's cool. I think
Yeah.
the approach I think is smart. If it's Triple H or someone else who made that suggestion decision, I think it's very, very wise.
Yeah.
Keep building the global brand.
I think I just got to remember, yeah, if it's how it sounds like it's reported to be. I just got to remember on Fridays to, hey, at 5 in the afternoon, don't be checking Twitter, don't be checking my phone, like, and just watch it live because when it's getting
Yeah,
close to Mania like that, I'm not gonna want to read,
I
what happened
know,
and stuff like
but
that.
it's
So
so
I'm gonna
tricky.
train
So like,
myself.
even on my phone, I press like, oh, open up Google, new tab, and it's like everything that I like. So it's always like music, wrestling,
Yeah, yeah,
video
they'll
games,
throw it
and
at
like,
you.
and it's always like, oh, results, and it's like X, or it's
Yeah,
like surprising thing happened on, and it shows the person maybe that
yeah,
came back
yeah,
or something, and I'm just like, gosh darn it.
yeah, yeah.
But
Gonna have to
it's
try to
exciting.
avoid it. Yeah, but
Yeah,
no, it'll be cool. It'll make for some fun shows, I would think, and a different kind of way of doing, the road to WrestleMania.
agreed.
Uh, Moving on to Monday Night Raw, a couple of new number one contenders. We've got
Yes.
from a battle royal, Iyo Sky is going to be with Liv Morgan, and then Damian Priest won a four-way match against Gunther. I mean, for Iyo, being a battle royal, it's a little more random, and for Priest, it was what Sheamus, Dom,
Seth
and
and
Seth.
Seth. Yeah.
So, your reactions to these winners? Think they were the right choices?
At first when and I hate women's battle royals because it's just like let's throw everyone in there just to make it everyone happy. But it felt like so many people got a good spotlight during the match. That was the nice thing about that match overall. Because what was it? Valkyrie, Io,
Yeah. Hmm.
Jade,
Jade
Bianca were the
Bianca.
final
Hmm.
four. And it's
Yep.
like you saw uh Lyra and Io go against Jade and Bianca, and then Jade and Bianca were like, no, right? And then Raquel and Liv bust out some shenanigans to eliminate Jade and Bianca. I know Jay was talking about um Bianca's braid last week, right?
Hmm. Yeah. Hmm.
Raquel was pulling on Bianca's hair so hard.
Yeah.
Like Bianca was hanging on the ropes and Raquel's a very strong, muscular woman, like pulling it. Like I'm just like, oh my gosh. I'm just like, Raquel, like you're pulling so hard.
Yeah.
And her yanking her out. I thought it was awesome. And then just that one-on-one versus Lyra and Io getting that what German suplex
Yeah.
on
Oh
the
yeah.
on the apron.
Yeah. You popped for that one.
And Io is a very slender lady, right? But Lyra is like very, very slender. And like how they can even operate on that probably what 18-inch 2 foot
Right.
max to not fall off like accidentally. It was perfection because what Io did it and then she like just leaned back and at her head, like almost leaning back in like a yoga pose or something. I thought
Right.
that match was one of the better women battle royals for like something on the line that I can remember. But the men, they were great too. But I think women, you got to put them all in there. Where the men, those were the four that I feel like should have been in there. Shayman was kind
Hmm.
of thrown there a little bit, but Damian winning, perfect. Will he beat
Yeah.
Gunther? Who knows? Io winning, I think she deserved it from that match. Will she beat Liv? I guess we'll see. But I
Yeah.
like both the winners though.
Yeah. I a little part of me uh would have liked to have seen Dom win just
Yeah.
because they even I don't know if it'll go this way, but I don't know if you caught on Raw when they had the little backstage interview with Gunther and Ludwig, and Ludwig kind of talked first and was talking down to Cody, you know, all this jibber jabber he was talking about, and Gunther kind of cut him off and said, hey, he was the better man that night. I don't really like the guy, but I'm gonna give him his respect, and we move forward. And Ludwig, I think, was a little caught off guard there. Like, what are you talking about? So my point is, if you put Dom in with Gunther, if you're maybe trying to tease Gunther becoming a fan favorite, who else to be better to be put in than Dom? People will go nuts for him taking a beating against Gunther.
Gunther would be the biggest face in the crowd
Yeah, yeah,
that night for sure.
right.
100%.
So Priest is totally worthy, of
Yeah.
course. Any of those guys would have been like,
And
all right, that's cool.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, there's a part of me that, Dom really hasn't had so much of his stuff has been Judgment Day things and his dad and all that. So if and when that happens, I think it's gonna be pretty damn cool. And so a little part of me was hoping that it could have been Dom to take on Gunther and see what that dynamic would be like. But yeah, well, I'm down with Priest. Not bad at all. The other thing that I thought was interesting to take away is, of course, this has been going on for a good while of kind of these tensions in the New Day between Woods and Kofi, right?
Hmm.
And Adam Pearce said, hey, we're going to celebrate 10 years of the New Day coming soon. I'm presuming maybe later in November. Okay. So again, it's got to get to some point. They've been doing this kind of back and forth tension of Woods is the leader and Kofi's not following, and just
Yeah.
it hasn't worked. So something's got to give at this 10 years thing. So what do you think might happen? Are we finally going to get the breakup? Are we maybe going to get a Big E return? Or any other thought that you have of what could happen
I
with this?
I want, and you hit on both things, right? Breakup or Biggie return. It's either if they're gonna stay together and be happy, Biggie's
Yeah.
gonna return, right? If there's going to be a quote unquote new day for them both, then have one turn on the other. But I feel like it's just
Yeah.
been dragging. It's one of those ones where it's like I still care and I watch, but it's like that's the segment where I'm like, okay, I'll check my email really quick, see if I have to delete anything on my phone, right? And I'll listen to it in the background just because it's kind of like the same thing. Like, oh yeah, I tag myself in because it's a tag match. Like it's almost like brothers bickering, fighting.
Hmm.
That's the way I
Hmm.
look at them. I
It
look at
is,
them like,
yeah.
right, they're family.
Yeah.
That type of thing. I don't know. I feel like I don't need an end result, right? If they want to have a feud, cool, go for it. But it needs to move forward a little bit.
Yeah.
It needs to move forward a lot a bit, to be honest, because it's getting kind of stale.
I always enjoy the segments. I
Yeah.
think because Kofi and Woods just have such a great dialogue back and forth. But yeah, it's time to do something, right? We've been teasing this long enough. I know
Hmm.
they probably got off track because this was kind of really starting with the whole Odyssey Jones thing. right? How long
Yes.
ago was that now? Like back
Oh,
before SummerSlam? I can't remember now. It's been a while. So, they probably had to pivot and come up with a plan B because obviously he was factoring into what was going on between those two. So I hope it's a Big E return, and I would not be upset if we get a, you know, happy moment between the three of them, and then Woods pulls like Seth Rollins did to the Shield sort of thing, behind their
ooh.
back and just amazingly destroys both of them.
Well, what if Big
Um,
E comes back and's like, come on, guys, let's be a family. And they're all
yeah.
happy. And then Big E turns on them both.
Ooh, that
Like,
would be okay. Yeah, that's
like,
good.
but then,
Because how pumped people would be for Big E coming back to say, I'm cleared
yes,
and we're going to do this thing. And then he ends up kicking the
I
crap out of
would,
both of them.
if
Whoa.
you want to propel Big E to the stars and
Hmm.
bury Woods and Kofi,
Yeah.
but we'll
I
see.
mean, I
I
could
think,
see him. He comes out and he does the like, you guys haven't been there for me. I've been
yeah.
on the shelf for like 2 years. You guys can't get your act together, so I'm going to take care of this problem. Ooh, point for you, buddy. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, something's got to
But a
happen.
new day has to happen soon.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it
All
is.
right, so we had a kind of makeshift NXT AEW war on Wednesday night. Of course, NXT went to Wednesday because of the election. I ended up putting on NXT. I barely flipped on AEW, and Kev, you'll talk about a little bit of what you saw and what we kind of
Hmm.
missed last week. But for me, being a diehard ECW fan from the beginning, and they were doing this show from the ECW arena, the 2300 arena, of course, as it's known now. I really wanted to see how well that show was, and I thought they knocked it out of the park. Great use of the ECW legends. We had Nunzio, or back in ECW when he was known as Little Guido.
Little Guido.
They didn't call him that no more. You can't do that, but I called him it. He fought
Lil,
Tony.
is he Lil G? Is that what he? I'm just
We can maybe get away with that.
kidding.
Chad Gable might say, you don't want to do that.
Oh,
It's a bad
shorty.
idea. Yeah. He looked great for whatever his age is. He's got to be in the,
I'm
low
gonna Google
50s
it.
at least. Yeah. Yeah. Nunzio. I don't know what his real name is. But yeah, he fought Tony D. Quick match. That's fine. Uh, the ECW crowd. How much?
52. He's
Okay, yeah.
52.
Yeah. So, God, if I could look the half that good at 52. The ECW crowd does not fly in 2024 with censors. Plenty of muting, plenty, a couple times where uh, Ava came out for an announcement, said how great the Philly crowd is, and Robert Stone took the microphone and said, "We all know New York is better." And you had a whole bunch of double birds that they had to like blur out the screen, not even go black. They like
Oh,
blurred it out. It's very weird. So yeah, so that's yeah, kind of par for the course, I guess. And I like to, we had Bubba Ray Dudley and Trick Williams versus Ridge Holland and Ethan Page, and that was in the middle of the show.
oh,
Yeah, great moment. Ridge beats Trick, by the way. It's a tag match, so that's got to be right. Be the next. They announced
okay.
NXT Deadline, so that'll probably be the main event there, or at least a match at that show with Trick and Ridge. Devon came out and brought out a table. So we had a little Dudley's reunion. So that was great. Ethan Page got put through a table. But a reason I like that, like I said, that was like probably right at 9 o'clock.
Hmm.
Because when you're doing a show like that where it's nostalgic, when ECW, all these things, you still want to showcase NXT in this case. You showcase the brand. So the main event was the 10 women tag match. So it was just strictly NXT and Jordan Grace, of course, from TNA,
Yeah.
but was part of it. And it was a fabulous match. But yeah, I was like, that's how you do it. You still put on your best. In this case, the ladies. You put them on best for last, and end the show that way instead of doing, Bubba Ray Dudley and Devon, because Bubba Ray and Devon aren't going to be there next week.
Yeah.
They were there because this was ECW's like kind of nostalgic reunion sort of thing. So I loved it. It's a lot of fun, a lot of cool little callbacks, and I think that's something I mentioned. Um, NXT on CW, they've had this is I think their third show where they've been in a different arena than the Performance Center. They did the Chicago show, that cool like factory venue in St. Louis,
Yeah, that was very cool.
and the ECW arena. I if I was Shawn Michaels and Triple H, I would say once a month we got to be somewhere else than the PC. It doesn't have to be a huge venue. The ECW arena is not a big venue, probably holds
Yeah.
1,500 people or something like that. But once a month, go somewhere else in the PC just to have the fresh crowd and the fresh look of the show. It really makes a difference to me. I really, really enjoy it. So those were my biggest takeaways, man. It's a cool show for you to check out when you get the chance.
I need to. I need to. And I know big against ECW, and I like your NXT ECW.
Yes. Yeah.
I will ask one thing. So I saw a snippet of what the production looked like. Watching like ECW back in the day, right? It was kind
Yeah.
of grainy. The lighting
Yeah.
was subpar. It was
Yes.
like a lot of, I don't want to say the word like blues. Like it looked not dirty, but it didn't look crisp and clean. And then you get
Yeah.
NXT and it's like the lights look really like shiny. It
Yes.
like watching it, did it give you like the feels of the ECW arena, or did it look like a different place than
Yeah.
the PC center? Do you know?
I would say more the PC center. You're right. Like it doesn't it has some sort of just overall that you could just probably because of how the seating looks and how it's
Yeah.
positioned that you go like, okay. But yeah, no, there is so different. I mean, listen, the ECW went out of business in 2001. We're talking 23 years later. It's not
Yeah.
going to look the same. And I think, that building is used for local wrestling shows. I know they talked about how Busted Open did their WrestleMania pre-party there, so it looks nice. So yeah, there's maybe just a hint of like, okay, this is what it was back in the day, but no, it's so different. And if you didn't tell me, and if they didn't promote it as like this is the ECW arena, then I wouldn't
Yeah.
have known. No,
Yeah. It
no.
was,
Good
I,
call. Good question.
I definitely need to go back and watch it. I did watch
Yeah.
a little bit of AEW, and the biggest thing that I took away from that, Bobby, debuted,
Bobby
and,
Lashley.
and
Yeah.
earlier I said less is more, and I feel like they're hitting it out of the park with Bobby so far. I know it's very, very new, right? Hurt Syndicate's in the ring, talking MVP, Swerve comes out. All he says is Bobby Lashley, full. And then MVP comes on and says, "We will see you there." Right? The emphasis
Yeah.
on like we will see you there. So
Yeah. The three of them.
and
Yeah.
it was nice. And it was done. It was a very quick segment.
Okay.
It makes me want more. So like less is more, big time with that. But I did watch a little bit more AEW. The go watch. Oh, you feel for him. It ended in no contest, but Orange Cassidy gets is butt kicked. Him and Darby go against Claudio and Pac. Ended in no contest. Cassidy's just getting darker and darker in the black. So
Yeah, I saw that. I did see
I
that.
I I love it. I liked it when what did you say recently? It's like I'm gonna bring Wheeler back to where he was before, and then I'm coming after you in the AEW title. I like hearing Orange like show the emotion while he talks. So
Hmm.
um I need to I definitely need to go back to the ECW, but AEW, I will say this. We're kind of critical at times. I feel like they're hitting some strong points. And I don't want to say like the whole me being excited for Lashley, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe that's part of the reason why I'm very optimistic. But there's some people on the shelves, some people might be going away for a little bit. So I don't know. Tony's got to figure out
Well,
how to book a good show continuously for some
Yeah.
long-term storytelling.
And that's the thing. Yeah, last week we recorded during Dynamite, so we
Yeah.
didn't get to talk about the Lashley debut. We all figured it was coming. But what's cool about it, and with how the Hurt Syndicate, as they are now known, um, you think about all the Hurt Business stuff in WWE was during the pandemic with no crowd. You know, they broke up like right before that Mania in Tampa. That was kind of the half crowd. Um, and I believe they did that because they didn't want the WWE, as in Vince, didn't want them getting cheered for like the first time being in front of a crowd because they were the bad guys.
Yeah,
But they were some of the absolute best parts of Monday
absolutely.
Night Raw
Yeah.
during that time. They were so good. So yeah, so even though AEW is taking that act, there's nothing, new and fresh in that sense,
Hmm.
right? It's the same thing, but it feels cool to see to me, not only because Swerve is a great choice for like a
Oh
first
my.
opponent. Like
Agreed.
that could be a really, really fun match. But
Agreed.
yeah, we never saw them in front of a crowd and like doing those things. And that's something that is something they didn't get to do. And having MVP be able to talk in front of a live audience, get those
Yes.
reactions, and see, the crowd react to the destruction that Lashley and Shelton can do. It's fun. It's fun.
100% agree.
I think it's off to an absolutely great start.
Yep.
All right, one last thing before we wrap up on Saturday, maybe a little before Crown Jewel, on the SEC network. Kev, you got the SEC network down in Indiana?
I have no clue.
Okay. All right. You don't want to watch Vanderbilt versus Mississippi State? Alabama man wants to watch it. Oh shit, honey, Arkansas's on.
Honey, take a shit as making the picks as a special guest pick.
take take a shit and took Clemson, or take a shit and took Georgia over LSU. Can't believe it. Go Dogs.
Go dogs.
But yeah, Goldberg was on the whatever SEC, like their version of College Game Day.
Yeah.
And because it was Georgia versus Florida, of course, he was a Georgia Bulldog in his football college days. And he announced, one last match, retirement match in 2025 in WWE. Not a complete surprise after we saw Bad Blood with the little in back and forth with him and Gunther. So I think we'd have to say Gunther would be the favorite as far as
Yeah.
like the odds of who that final opponent is. But if it's not, Kev, who would you want to see to be that final opponent? You got a couple in mind or one in mind?
If I would love to see Braun Breaker against Goldberg. I think that has to be on. I'm going on a limb here. I'm going to say that's probably everyone's top three, just because
mine. Yep.
spear versus spear.
Yep.
And then I started thinking, I'm like, okay, kind of like when Corbin versus Kurt Angle, right? Kurt Angle got beat by Corbin, and then what did it mean, right? Nothing, because Corbin didn't elevate. That win against Goldberg, Gunther doesn't necessarily need the elevation, but Breaker I could actually see going higher. Neither of them are going to fizzle, right? Neither of them. But I have to imagine it's going to be someone so strong or a freak athlete versus any up and comer. That's the thing. It's not going to be any up and comer in any way. I don't want to see KO. I don't want to see Brock. I think it's either Gunther, Braun, or nothing.
Okay. Yeah, Braun was one of mine. The only other one I had, and kind of touched on this guy a little bit earlier, if the medicals check out, is Big E.
That'd be nice.
Big E has said Goldberg was his favorite growing up. I think Goldberg
And he's not
was,
lying.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. Naughty, naughty, Gunther, naughty, naughty. Well, that line still gets me. Yeah. I think that was the like maybe the inspiration of that legendary clip of Big E doing the "I want big meaty men slapping meat." It was
Yeah.
like talking about Goldberg and everything. So if he's cleared, that would be really really cool for both of those guys to do that. I'd love to see it. But yeah, otherwise, yeah,
Maybe as a young, maybe like Obafemi, if he came up to the
yeah,
main,
that's what I was thinking
like
too.
something like that. But then you take the risk of what if he fizzles on the main roster and it's you basically had another, I'll say legend, have his last match mean nothing.
Yeah,
Like that, or like John Cena's last match, right? I know we talked like who has
yeah.
the
Who's that going to
right to
be?
have that
Yeah,
last match against John. Goldberg isn't up to the level of a John Cena. Goldberg, but he still deserves something.
yeah.
It's just, does he go out on top? Maybe he does go against a young guy or a person like Ziggler that
Mm,
he'll just destroy. But if he's going to go out with a loss, it's got to be someone unbelievable. If it's Gunther or Braun Breaker, Goldberg losing, right?
I'd hope so.
He's
Yeah,
losing.
I would think so. Um, yeah, I probably would even take Braun over Gunther at this point.
Oh,
You know, it'd be fun, but I love that match. I love that they can reference in Braun's case, you know, my dad and my uncle, they used to beat you up back in the day. It's my turn to finish the job.
yeah.
Goldberg can throw that shit back at him too. I used to kick your family's ass. I'm going to kick your ass too.
It would
There's a
be
lot of fun stuff there.
so much.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Shit, get Hulk Hogan down there is special ring
Timekeeper.
yeah, the timekeeper. I was like, special. What do they call it? The person who like ring the bell. But
Yeah, that's timekeeper.
is
Timekeeper
it
rings
just
the bell.
timekeeper?
I think
Okay.
so. Yeah. What else would
The
they do?
Hulk
They
Hogan
don't
with
have
a
a
little
stopwatch on
hammer.
side.
Ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding.
The Hulk with the hammer. You could do ring announcings. Then Samantha Irvin's gone. You know, there's
Shit, is the
openings
Georgia
there.
Dome still there?
Georgia Dome's still there. Mercedes Benz Dome. Who
So,
knows? Who knows?
uh,
Yeah, love it.
2025, we're gonna see Cena's last match. We'll
Yeah.
see his last match. Who knows? Maybe that's going to be both of their last
Yeah,
matches.
maybe they'll face each other. Just call it a day together. Maybe we'll get Ric Flair's last match. Does he want one more?
No,
I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
God.
I did see Kev. Pull up Ric Flair's Twitter if you haven't yet today.
Oh no.
No, it's good. It's good.
Okay.
Um, coming soon, like Ric Flair's Woo Bourbon.
Oh,
You're a bourbon guy. I'm pulling it up if you haven't pulled it up yet.
I
I'm gonna see. Let's see what it says. You know, Old Nature's energy drinks. I don't know. I don't know if he has weed or like CBD. What a terrible name. Coming soon. Excuse me. Coming soon. Wooski. Wooski. Okay. The Nature Boys finely aged Kentucky bourbon. Woo.
well, it's probably gonna be like Heaven Hill White Label.
90 proof Nature Boy. So yeah, that is as of 6 hours ago, so we have very limited information on that, but we will look for that. And hey, maybe we could do a taste test that might go a little bit better than Hulk Hogan's Real American Beer.
Oh, the tagline. It's drink a lot of this and you'll end up falling on your face. Oh, there you go.
It does say that, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at least they're not false advertising.
Well,
That
I
sounds
look
about
forward
right.
to it. So Joe goes to Buffalo Trace sometimes, gets the
Yeah.
uh very rare Wellers or Eagle Rare. I can see
Eagle
Joe
Rare,
spending a couple nights outside the entrance to whatever location that's gonna make this for a wooski.
Yeah.
Maybe Brian, you can get Rick to sign a bottle. It can go right
I
next to
know, yeah. If he comes
Hogan
to that
signed
same store,
case.
yeah, yeah, I would go to that for sure. Yeah, it's gonna be Ric Flair riding a buffalo. I think
Oh my
that's how what they're gonna
goodness.
have on the bottle. That
Oh
sounds
my.
something that he would do. Yeah, we'll look for that.
I didn't know about that though. That's fine.
Yeah, that's breaking news here. We don't even need the sounder, but
Wow.
we'll deal with that when that comes. And yeah, another taste test. Because you and Joe are the bourbon connoisseurs, so you'll be able to give the expert opinion on if this is good or a bunch of bullshit.
I feel like he's putting his name on everything.
He is.
Like, and it's just,
yes.
Let's do this.
This toy rolling pin is a Ric Flair toy rolling pin. This is a Ric Flair Bluetooth speaker. This is a Ric Flair computer mouse.
I want to see him.
This is a Ric Flair version of the Rock Christmas ornament. They've got all of that too. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
I want to see him do an infomercial at night.
Oh my God! Now that's a good idea.
Like not Billy Blanks or Ron Popeil.
Yeah, just cut promos.
Oh wait, there's more.
Yeah.
Ski. And then when you get tired from drinking bourbon, drink my Woo energy drink. Like,
he can sell. He'll sell the bottle, but if you call within the next 90 minutes, we'll give you the shot glasses for free and the rocks glasses, and throw in. Yeah,
there's more.
Yeah, we need to get this idea to Nate ASAP. All right, buddy. Well, I think we held down the fort good enough for tonight, man. How you feeling?
Absolutely. I feel like we killed it.
I do too.
Joe's on his way to Houston. Jay may or may not be getting that diamond encrusted ringside seat.
Yep, exactly right. Yeah, the shipping and handling must be insane. Good luck to them both. All right, that'll do it then for this week. YouTube.com/That Wrestling Podcast and @That WrestlePod for social media. WhatAmaneuver.net for all your merchandise needs. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Maybe all four of us will be back next week. And I hope you guys have a great week as well. And as always, enjoy wrestling.
Thanks for listening. Follow That WrestlePod on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube.
1, 2, 3. That's it.